Hey everybody, welcome to Wednesday. It's what, session 5? Is that right? Session 6 of the Joy of Coding here at Portland State. I'm wearing my glasses so I can see you. Man, it's like you hit middle age and all of a sudden like I can't. I can see up fine close. I am nearsighted, but distances not so much. So tonight we're going to continue our theme this week of pair programming, and you'll do some pair programming. So on Monday we sort of learned about what pairing is all about. We learned about the driver and the navigator, and and you got to see me pair with a couple of people. Now tonight you're going to get to try it all. So after some Prime Minister's questions, I'll talk about pairing and mobbing in this course and how you'll be assessed on your pair and mobbing. And then we'll dive right into it. So we'll be using this shared repository, this Kata's Summer 2025 directory to collaborate. And so then if you haven't already, please go get a checkout of this. And I did post a link in the Slack also. And find your initials, edit the file, and push it back up. We do this so that we can verify that everybody can indeed push up to the repository, because I'll be collaborating tonight. Actually, we'll be collaborating in all of the pairing and mobbing sessions. Is that we all edit code together using this Kata's repository. Excellent. Okay. And those of you who are joining on Zoom, you're probably here in the classroom. I'll record the beginning here and the questions and talking about pairing, but then the recording is going to pause while you're doing the important stuff for tonight, which is pairing on the Kata. But first, let's start out with some questions. So how are things going? The koans were due tonight. Hope everybody got them done. Weren't that many questions about them. I did get a couple of people saying, oh, yeah, I'll need another minute. It's like, great, you got late day, you can use it now. But how'd the koans turn out for everybody? Anybody left with any questions? Any feedback for me about your experiences with koans? Thank you. No? How are you feeling about your ability to develop in Java? Are you were the koans helpful? Was it like now that you're like, yeah, okay, get some thumbs up from people, good, good, good. Now that maybe you're diving into project one or thinking about project one, hopefully you feel comfortable, like just with the syntax, with using the language. Yes. Project one. Have any questions on that? Anybody have a chance to break ground on it? Anything confusing or? Okay. Is that a question or just another thumbs up? Okay, awesome. Super cool. Okay, we assigned project 2 last time, to give you a heads up there. And we'll talk about project 3 on Monday along with refactoring and stuff, but getting ahead of myself. Anything else I can tell you? So let's dive into it. So pairing and mobbing in this course. So I've been doing pairing and then mobbing for quite a while, and it's evolved a bit. I've added more and more structure to it because I found that it's not intuitive. And so then we saw what we did last time with having me pair with some people on a very simple programming problem on the FizzBuzz Kata. And so then, oh. And so then I hope that makes it more approachable for those of you in the class. So we talked a little bit about this last time, the fact that people work together to build software, and that's why software has gotten better. You think back to the turn of the century, and software was a mess. Stuff was hard to use. It was slow. It was broken all the time. I mean, you complain about Windows today. You should have seen it 30 years ago. I mean, Windows 95 was a mess, and it took a little while for us to really figure out how to build in quality. And I think one of the big realizations is that this myth of like the lone programmer off in their cave just doesn't work. because you learn too slowly, you don't get multiple eyes on a problem, and, uh, and then you just had software that had bottlenecks in it, or you had awkward handoffs, and it was much better. And things got much better. Most people started working together. And the idea of having a team of people rallying around problems is probably best exemplified in pair and mob programming. And so it's something that I want you to experience as part of this course because it's a big component of contemporary software development. And one of the things that I find is so valuable in working with other people is that you learn faster, you overcome problems quicker, and you get this really fast feedback loop. Sure, you can have fast feedback loop like test-driven development and stuff. You can see your test passing and stuff. But when you are in dialogue with someone as you're doing your work, even though it might seem counterintuitive, things do go faster. So, in the joy of coding, while you do a lot of work on your own, writing the projects, working with your appointment book application, you'll also experience pairing and mobbing here in class. And we'll do that by implementing katas, right? We saw an introduction to katas last time. This is where you have a little programming problem that you look to solve. The goal isn't so much to just solve the problem. That's the fun part of it. It's to explore using a technique like test-driven development or pairing to solve it. So we're going to again collaborate in a public GitHub repository, and so it's this Katas Summer 2025 up in the Joy of Coding PDX organization GitHub. Just as a reminder, right? All of the code that we write together is in a public repository. All the code that you write on your own is in a private repository. I used to, like, on the first mobbing sessions, like, go create your own repository, and like some pairs would like spend the first 20 minutes or even the first half an hour just trying to get off the ground there. So I said, oh, let's all have one repository so I can provide you with all that so you can focus in on pairing and actually getting work done. Perhaps not for tonight, but something for next week. Next Wednesday, there's another pair programming activity, and you have the option of participating remotely. There is this collaboration tool in IntelliJ called Code With Me that actually gives you like real-time collaboration, more like you're editing a Google document or something together. It's some students find it really neat. Other students have said it was just kind of meh. I encourage you to try it if it's something you want to do. So let's see here. Let's get down to sort of the requirements here. So there are two pairing and two mobbing session activities during the term. Just looking at the calendar. So there's one tonight on the 9th. That's the first pairing. The second pairing is next Wednesday on the 16th. And then the mobbing sessions happen later in the course on July 30th, and then again on August 6th. So we have a few weeks before you need to be back here in the classroom for your mobbing exercise. So you're required to participate in both. And what we'll do is that we'll do some pairing, and then I want us to talk about our experience in retrospect on what we saw. So what we'll be doing tonight is mostly coding with somebody, but then we'll take 10 minutes at the end or so to talk about our experiences, because I'm very curious in what it's like seeing pairing for the first time, and I would like you to think critically about what you're doing and how you're doing it. I asked that each student in the pair be the driver sometimes and be the navigator other times. And so then I asked that you make at least 4 non-trivial commits to the GitHub repository. Remember, I can see your commits there in the repository, so if there's any question, I can go back it up. If you're working in an ensemble, in a mob, then it's like at least 2 commits, because with like 6 people, you might not get more than 2 chances to be the driver. So that's kind of what you're required to do tonight. As a follow-up, there is a quiz on Canvas, which is called a reflection on your experiences. So to be clear, I'm not going to assess the quality of the code that you write tonight. Yeah, it could work, it could not. It could have 100% test coverage. You could have, less than 100% test coverage. That's not really what I'm looking to assess you on. I assess that on your project, on your individual work. I'm more interested in what your experiences were and how you see pairing, and then we'll do it again for mobbing, being practical and where you see it being impractical. So after you've done the second pairing activity, a quiz on Canvas will open up where you'll have an opportunity to reflect on your experiences and be asked a couple things, like who are the people that you worked with. So be sure to keep track of that. As a matter of fact, you can do that in the poem.xml. And then also, tell me like which pair you worked in, or send me a pointer after the code that you wrote. Now again, I'm not going to execute your code. I don't care if it compiles or passes or fails. But I might review it for completeness. I mean, right? If you're sitting here, on the YouTube or whatever the entire time and not paying attention, that's something not going to count. But I will be looking for, actually, the graders look for evidence that, hey, that you gave it a try and that you contributed some stuff. Oh yeah, and also I might, so I also reserve the right to look at the quantity of your commits in the repository, and I just use a URL like that, so you can see, how you've committed and make sure that it's okay. Of course, if you have any questions, please let me know. But more importantly, I want you to, in the reflection, describe what your experiences were. It's like what you felt, what you heard, what was it like? Let me know. I want you to think critically about these. And then also, I want you to comment on when you think pairing, and then again, when you do the mobbing reflection, would be ineffective, and when you think it would be ineffective. Again, we're not just here to write some code. We're here to think about how we write some code. And just one more time, the pairing and mobbing, this is what you do in class with other people outside of class. Please work on your own. So the multi-phase project for the course is individual work. If you work individually, there won't be any problems with an appearance of plagiarism. So those are the expectations for what you'll be doing in these pairing and mobbing sessions. Anything else I can tell you? Are you left with anything that you're wondering about? Or anything that's not clear before we dive into writing? So let's see here. I have a little bit more over here. Oh yeah, leap year is kata. Okay. So we already covered the pair and mobbing handout. So now let's look at the leap year's kata, the kata for tonight. Okay. Again, very simple problem. You're here to explore pairing and maybe some TDD. So this is a little bit of background on what leap years are all about. Feel free to read it on your own. So anyway, leap years are a thing. So we want to write a program, an algorithm that determines whether or not a given year is a leap year. And so here are the rules that determine what years are leap years. So any year that's divisible by 400, those are leap years. So 2000, year 2000 was a leap year. Now, any year that is divisible by 100, but not by 400, those are not leap years. So like 1900 and 2100 will not be leap years. Otherwise, all the years that are divisible by 4, but not by 100, those are leap years. So like 2016 and 2024, those were leap years. And of course, if you have a year that's not divisible by 4, it's definitely not a leap year like 2025 is now. I hope this isn't like news to anybody. I think we all are experienced with what leap years are all about. But anyway, here are the rules of leap years. And so before I go and start talking about what's in the repository, any uncertainty or anything you'd like to talk about with regards to the leap year's kata and its requirements? This doesn't really specify what the inputs and outputs are. Feel free to just write a Java function, method that does this. If you want to read or write, if you want to have something output to standard out, then you can use an integration test to test that. Really, it's up to you and your partner to figure out how you'll approach this. Okay, so let's talk about the code and the structure of the code. So I'm going to go over to IntelliJ, and this is the Summers 2025 repository. I hope everybody has a checkout of it. If you don't, please get on top of that because we're going to be working with it tonight. Oh, looks like someone else added themselves or changed something, whatever. Okay, so if we look at our repository, we have the FizzBuzz kata that we worked on last time, and we have leap years kata. And there are 16 projects within this leap years katas project, one for each pair. I figure we've got like 30 students registered or something like that, so 16 ought to be plenty of pairs. Let me know if it's somehow not. We're going to do the following. So one of the most challenging and time-consuming things is to figure out who's pairs, who's paired with who and like what number pair they are. So I try to make it easy. So up here at the front of the room, I have a bunch of cards. And so then please, if there's someone you want to pair with, that's great. Come up here and with your pair, take 2 cards with the same number on them, and that will be your number. If you don't have someone that you want to pair with, choose a card and find the other person, I guess, with the card, or sit up here and look awkward and find someone else who's taking a card. I don't know how this works. Anyway, and then get yourself comfortable here. I encourage you to use the projectors along the perimeter of the room, so you have a nice big space to work on. I have 4 department-provided HDMI cables from U Blecker, only the finest imported HDMI cables, have at it. So then, find whichever pair is yours inside each project. This all looks really familiar to you. There's a leap years main class, and there's also a unit test for it. There's also an integration test if you're doing anything with main method. But this is the same project, the same process we've been following for the last couple of weeks. Whenever we code together here in class, we've got a unit test that has JUnit, it has Hamcrest, so you can write a unit test for that, and then you've got a leap years main class that you can add whatever logic to that's under test. And then as you go, and then we'll do some Pomodoros. Oh yeah, also sorry, one more thing. To sort of stake your claim, I recommend that you edit the pom.xml file. There's a developer section, and you can put your name, and your partner can put their name in. Again, making sure that everybody can commit to the repository. Yeah, and then code away. And actually, what we'll be doing is the following. So first, we'll do a round of 7 or so minutes where meet your partner, introduce yourself if you don't know each other, do a little bit of planning, figure out how you want to approach this problem, and talk about how you want to approach testing, if you want to test at all, how you're going to validate that it does the right thing, stuff like that. Maybe sketch out some given when-thens. Then decide who will be the first driver and then who will be the first navigator. And then we're going to do 10-minute Pomodoros. We did 5-minute, actually, well, I guess we did, yeah. We did like 5-minute Pomodoros last time. I think the feedback I got from students is they prefer a little bit longer. So what we'll do is we'll code for 7 minutes. So we'll have a driver and a navigator for 7 minutes. Then you'll code away, right? We'll be talking about tests and making them pass. And then we will, along the way, make sure your code compiles. And because we're all sharing one code base. Actually, this is one of the really interesting things about this activity is that we have, like a dozen people all committing to the same repository at the same time. Now, you should all be in different codes, right? Or different parts of the code base. So no one should be editing the same file, but what you'll find is that, you're ready to commit and push yours up, you'll find that there are other changes that you need to then integrate into the repository. And while this might be a little frustrating at times, it's also all part of the activity, all part of what we're figuring out how to do tonight. So for 7 minutes, you'll work on the kata. You'll be implementing tests. You'll be driving them to green. You'll be doing refactoring. And then after that 7 minutes, we'll take 2 minutes to reflect on the experience. So this is where you put your hands down, or maybe you commit your code in, and then you talk about like what worked and what didn't work, what things sort of resonated with you, and get some ideas for how you want to approach the next round. And then you'll switch roles. And at which point the new driver will pull down the latest code, or share their screen, or however you are collaborating on things. And then it'll start again, right? We'll do another 10-minute Pomodoro of using TDD to implement the kata for 7 minutes, followed by a 2-minute reflection, and then switching roles. And then after we do that for a while, we'll end with a longer retrospective where you'll capture what you did and all of that. And here again, this will be like towards the end of class. You'll capture this. You'll capture information about what you observed while learning. And here, for each pair, there's a series of bulleted lists asking you to brainstorm and talk about what went well, just in general, what didn't work well, and then ideas that you have for the future. Because you'll be doing this again, right? You'll be doing pairing in another week, and then just in terms of the mechanics of working with other people, we'll have the chance to do mobbing later in the course. So that was a lot. What can I tell you before you're ready to get started? What else do you need to know? Yeah. Oh, good point. The starting and end leap years. I don't think there are any bounds on that. I guess you don't. I don't know if there are negative leap year numbers. So yeah, I don't think there are any requirements for what year. So you could do the year 1 million, right? Yeah, that's a good point. Anything else? Anybody else have a idea, a question, a comment? Excellent then. Okay. Yeah, let's get started. I'm so excited. I'm going to pause the recording and. Okay, so this is a really interesting experience tonight. I'm really curious to hear about what you thought about it. So I was just looking at the doc here. Yeah, some things that worked well. Yeah, identifying errors with these errors code, learning shorthands for some of the commands. Sounds like the pair 3 got things to work well. That's great. Yeah, Git. Yeah, what was it like working with Git? So, right, we had 30 people. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing some. Okay, so yeah. So what was meh? What wasn't cool? Was it merging? Yeah, yeah. And you had this really weird experience, right, where it's you merged it in, and all of a sudden there was this local change, and I didn't make that change, and yet Git did for you. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yes. Yeah. Rush hour traffic. Yeah. Yeah. Were some positive things about Git? Did anybody learn anything new? Anything you're going to take away? Yeah. Good. Yeah. Were you doing pull and push from the command line or from IntelliJ to make a difference? Yep. Okay. Yeah. So the command line worked for you comfortable. Okay. Anybody use IntelliJ? Found it? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. I like IntelliJ, but yeah, this is a kind of crazy situation. That's okay. It's all part of the experience. It's what we're able to learn to do here. Nice. Got more practice in writing unit tests. Yeah, how do people find writing unit tests and testing in pairs? That was okay. Yeah, that was you like that. What was good about it? Yeah, right. Have someone to talk to, and yeah, excellent. What were other people's experiences with unit testing? Was it any different from when you've written tests on your own? I heard a yeah. Said that. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So learn anything new about testing. Discover any new techniques or new approaches that you might apply in your projects. Something? Nice. Yeah, coming up with tests. Yeah, right. That's a great example of like why it's great to have that driver and the navigator, right? The navigator is just thinking a little bit more strategically. The driver is all in the code, with their hands on the keyboard trying to figure it all out. Nice, nice, nice. See some other things that work well. Fill in the gaps. Communication. Yeah, what was effective communication? So like when you had good communication with your partner, what did it look like? What did it feel like? Like what would you want to replicate in the future? Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. So it's micro intervals of like, hey, go off and drive for a little bit, but okay, hey, what did you just do there? Or what do you want to do next? Yeah. Nice. That's nice. Well, it wasn't so great. What are some things that kind of sucked? Let's see here. Uh, oh, accidentally adding an error somewhere. I'm both confused where we introduced it. Cool. Yeah, yeah, yep. All been there. Oh, yeah, Code with Me. Yeah, I know you all back there were using Code with Me. Anybody else using Code with Me? Yeah. Yeah. So what did you think? Is that something you'd want to do again next time? Yeah, in person it didn't really. Yeah, yeah. How about you all? Ah, right. Sort of like the handoff. That's true too. Yeah. Right, right, yeah, yeah. Because because we want everybody to commit, everybody to get the experience doing that, and so yeah, you can't really all just be in that same session. Yeah, good point, good point. Okay, yeah, nice, nice, nice. Okay, let's see here. We're across different OSs. That was a team of three. Interesting that yeah, slow it down a little bit. Yeah, three is not the same as two. So okay, good to know. Um, Yep, get. Oh yeah, being inexperienced with Java. Yeah, right. And this is only like what week three. So yeah, don't worry if like there's still syntax things that you're worried about. If you still have to write in your IDE, this is all a way of learning, right? And hopefully you learn faster, or at least you get more experience doing it this way. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, yeah. Uncertainty of program spec parameters. Can someone from Para 11 or actually anybody who like was maybe a little bit unsure about the program spec talk more about maybe the challenge they encountered and how they overcame it? Yeah. 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 Right. Try all the numbers. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Iterating through all the years, kind of like in the the FizzBuzz kata, right, where we iterate. Okay, cool. But yeah, it wasn't specific. So yeah, and that's sort of the intent. Where it's like when you have two eyes on it, you can check and challenge assumptions, and usually end up with like a better, well-informed result. Nice. Uh, oh, switching so quickly. So yeah, we had like 7-minute coding sessions. I think I saw a couple people say, "Oh, I wish I had more time." Tell me more about that. So like, what was it like? Like when the buzzer goes off, or like what drew you to conclude that you had more time? Yeah. Mm. Gotcha. More deadline-driven development than like, okay, fair enough. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. At the end of the time. Yeah. Well, and that's okay, right? And yeah, I mean the Pomodoro. Okay, so like in the in-class activity, I like the Pomodoros because it forces us to switch to go back and forth. It's important to me that when you're doing this in class, that everybody get to experience both roles multiple times. That there is the literal push and pull of Git, right, to experience all of that. I think you'll also find when we do mob programming that it's also helpful because otherwise in whatever like the hour 15 minutes that we spend, you want to make sure to get a couple of turns. But yes, it does mean that hey, there's this time box, and that yeah, hey, we get to the we get 45 seconds left, and it's like time to move on. It's okay. Give yourself permission to be like, okay, great. This is give us more time to have a reflection or whatever. Nice. So let's see here. Yep. Okay. So if you're so get started with Java. Yeah, more time to code. More time to code. Nice. Okay. Well, we'll. Okay. So next Wednesday, let's do. We'll go from 7 to 10. See what happens. Do some science, right? More practice with how to communicate. Error handling. Yeah. Great. 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 Okay. Well, anything else? Any other observations you have to share? Any other feedback you have for me? Any ideas? Anything else that you want to maybe think about for next time? Cool. Well, excellent. Thanks. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight and participating in all of this. That's all we got. So let's do a quick wrap up here, maybe a preview of what's coming next. Let's see here. On Monday. So let's see here. I guess between now and then, make sure you get your koans in and stuff. And break ground on your Project 1. On Sunday, the plan of attack will be due because Project 1 is due next Wednesday. So that means the plan of attack is due on Sunday night. I recommend that you get well into Project 1 by the beginning, maybe Monday, Tuesday of next week, because Project 2 is due the week after that, on the 23rd. Let's see here. On Monday, we're going to be doing refactoring. So this is actually going to be another kata, refactoring kata. Although I'll be the one on the keyboard, and what I'm going to be doing is talking about various refactorings. What you'll do though is you'll look at the code, and it's some ugly code, and then you'll be identifying, hey, what are some things that we can improve, and then we'll work together to use IntelliJ refactoring tools and just we're writing some tests and things like that to refactor it. I think it's a good lesson. It will give you some ideas for how you can refactor your own code as you write it in the projects. But there is a lot of lecture material also, so be sure to check in on that. And then a week from tonight, we'll be doing our second pair of programming after learning about continuous integration. So I got some great stuff coming up. Looking forward to it. I hope you are too. In the meantime, have a great night, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.